Okay, it's been a couple weeks. I am gonna stitch together a couple things real quick. I'm kind of bored and frustrated today because parts ain't here and ain't got nothing really to do. I've just been sanding. So you can see lots of frickin' sanding dust on everything. Back to the Sim and Shopline primer I had sprayed. This is 2 weeks later and it's still very flexible. And I'll stitch a picture in here maybe at the end and show you, because this is where I had some really big cracks. So I sanded completely down. And up here, I mean, like I said, I had a couple layers on here, and this was very thick. Stopping right there, no cracks, still flexible. And when I sanded it completely through, you can see that the discoloration of the cracks was there. But, I mean, I flexed it. It seems like it bridged those small cracks, so I ain't gonna have any issue with that. I mean, I sanded across here and there's nothing, and I flexed it and bent it, and over here on the side, I sanded, kept flexing it, kept bending it, and those were some pretty big cracks in there. One thing I said not to do, but I ended up doing, and I'll show you why. So when I was trying to get into the cracks, this is the one that I finished. I finished sanding this yesterday. And then to get this area in here, I was saying don't use Rolox, because they will, if you start getting wavy or too high, it will just sand that plastic, that urethane, right down. But what I did do is I had some that were wore out, and you can see how flexible they are. So it didn't take much, and I just spun those down in there, and it was soft enough on the edge, because this is very hard. That'll chew it up. But I mean, I tried hand sanding it, it just wouldn't come out of there. And these would just go down through there and clean that out. So this bumper is ready to go. Shouldn't have any issues there. And like I said, tried a few different things, but that was that. And I did the fin. I'm through to the white fiberglass. I just stopped a little bit short. So these are sanded, ready to go. I've still got to do those. I did all the air vents. All the flares are done. So they're completely cleaned up. I mean, they're just dirty as hell. One weird thing I had on the front, obviously somebody's done this before because they had two different colors here. Don't know why. And the only other thing, I mean, that took 2 days to sand all that stuff. The only other thing I did was I got a divider plate in for the water pump for the motor. And I just did it. It's no big deal. I'll show you real quick. They say they want those divider plates to just barely miss the fins in there. So let's see if I can spin one around here. So you see that's about a 1/16 of an inch. And what I did there was just put it on, lay it down, put a little piece of board across here, hammer this down a little bit, because I've not built them, but I've heard you want those fairly close. So if I'm at 1/16 of an inch, then you put a gasket in there, it's probably going to give you, what would that be, 3/32, 8, something like that. But when it first got here, it had probably 3 times that space. But you can see it's definitely missed it all the way around. So that's ready to go. And that's all that I've gotten done. There's just nothing else to do. Sanding, I was waiting. I've got the frames ready to go. Everything's ready. I'm just kind of waiting on the motor so I can start putting that stuff together. And since I'm not going to spray this stuff for a while, I just wanted to wait. But I'm not going to bore you with too many details. It's just that I ended up using a little bit of a soft Rolock in those edges just be careful when you're doing that, because it will get into that plastic, and then you got to try to build those edges up to look good. So that's it. That's all I've gotten done. Honestly, it's probably going to be, Christmas is coming up. I'm probably not going to get a whole hell of a lot done. Like I say, it's kind of a ball humbug year, waiting some other issues, but that's it. I just come out here and do what I can when I can, and we'll go from there.